Hello, I'm Curtis A. Routley, and I'd like to thank you for coming to the Running Prophecy channel and joining me in my teaching series. This lesson is going to be about Jesus' birthday. I'm going to take you through two approaches to show you the day that he was born on, so that shortly you can rejoice in celebrating it on the correct day. There are 4 special feast days during the feasts of Israel, the yearly feast cycle that they went through. It began with Passover on the 14th of Nisan, the first month. On the 16th day of Nisan was Firstfruits. Now 50 days after Passover was Pentecost. It's on the 6th or the 7th of the 3rd month, which is Sivan. Then you have, in the 7th month, on the 10th day of the month, the Day of Atonement. Every one of these special feast days relates to what Israel's Messiah was going to do. You know that Jesus died on Passover. You know that he was raised on first fruits. It's not recorded that he was baptized by John the Baptist on Pentecost, but it's a good decision to think that he was, when the dove descended and rested upon him. And then that leaves us with the fourth feast day. The 10th day of the 7th month, the Day of Atonement. Now, what was the purpose of the Passover lamb? It was for the forgiveness of sin. And forgiveness of sin is achieved through atonement. So if Jesus died on Passover, rose on first fruits, and during the time of the beginning of his ministry was baptized by John the Baptist on Pentecost, then that means that Jesus was born on the 10th day of the 7th month, on the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, the high holy day for Israel. The 10th day of the 7th month. Now if I can show you through the scriptures that Jesus was born in the 7th month, then I'm reasonably certain that you will accept the fact that he was born on the 10th day of the 7th month, because he would atone for sin. Let's look at some of the scriptures, basically based upon Luke chapter 1, starting with verse 5, and in 1 Chronicles chapter 24, verses 7 through 19. In 1 Chronicles chapter 24, verses 7 through 19, a list of priestly tribes is given where 24 tribes are selected by lot to serve in the temple for an appropriate period of time. Now, since there are only 12 months in the year, and the Jewish months are Nisan, Iyar, Sivan, Tammuz, Av, Elul, Tishri, Sheshvan, Kislev, Tevet, Shvat, and Adar. When we look at what the meaning of the 8th course of Abijah is from Luke chapter 1, we find that Jehoiarib and Jedaiah were chosen by lot for service number 1 and number 2. Since there are only 12 months but 24 priestly tribes, each tribe would then be serving 1/2 of the month. So the first tribe would serve from days 1 through 15, and the second tribe would serve from days 16 through 29 or 30, depending on how many days there were in that month. So then the 3rd lot went to Harim, the 4th lot to Shearim, the 5th lot to Malchijah, the 6th lot to Majamin, the 7th lot to Hakaz, and the 8th lot went to Abijah. So the 8th course of Abijah means the last half of the 4th month, the month of Tammuz. And that means days 16 through 29, because Tammuz only has 29 days in the month. So this now is the clicking point of the stopwatch for the events that are going to take place that Luke records for us. During this time period, between days 16 and days 29 of the 4th month of the Jewish calendar, the month of Tammuz, Zechariah sees Gabriel standing by him as he's offering the incense, serving in the temple. Now, it is said that Zacharias and his wife Elizabeth were old and advanced in years. But someone serving in the temple or the tabernacle could only serve from the age of 20 to the age of 50. So if he has a full-time job in the tabernacle, he has not yet attained to the age of 50 years old. So approaching this point, they're considering them well advanced in years. And Zacharias was told by Gabriel that they were going to have a child, a son, and he would call his name John. And Zacharias laughed at that. And Gabriel says, because you've laughed, you're not going to be able to speak a word until you acknowledge the fact that his name is John. And so Zacharias was mute until the point of John's birth and the naming of the child. So this was the point where Zacharias saw Gabriel. And when his service ended at the end of the 29th day, on the 1st of Av, he went back home. So between the 1st and the 15th, John the Baptist was conceived. Then Elizabeth, in her 6th month, had Mary come to meet her and greeted her with her words of great greeting and joy. Mary stayed with Elizabeth for 3 months until John the Baptist was born. So, in the month of Tevet, Elizabeth and Mary met. Then you have Shavat, Adar, and Nisan of the next year, and in Nisan of the next year, John the Baptist was born. 6 months later, in the 7th month, Jesus was born. If Jesus was born in the 7th month, the month of Tishri, since he is the one that would atone for all sin, everyone's sin, who is willing to come to the Lord and say, Lord, forgive me of my sin, then Jesus was born on the Day of Atonement, the 10th day of the 7th month of Tishri. This year, the 10th day of the 7th month of Tishri falls on the 4th of October, 2014. You're just a week or so away from the ability to celebrate his birthday on the correct day of the year. On that day, if you have not already done so, ask him for forgiveness for your sin, and let his atonement for your sin be acceptable unto you. God bless you.